I'm joined here today by the one, the only Laura Sanchez, set to make her big debut at the PFL coming up soon against Genah Fabian. What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How does it feel to know that you're making a debut with a big promotion like the PFL, knowing you got the $1 million waiting for you at the end and stuff like that? How does it feel hearing those words?
It's exciting. I've been waiting a long time for an opportunity like this. A lot of ups and downs, and then having trouble finding fights, and then after the Singapore tournament with Gamma, and then making my pro debut, Duke got me into the PFL. So it's about time. Is all I can say. I've been waiting for a while.
Why is it hard for you to find fights? I know that we've seen you at 145. Now we're going to see you at 155. I know your frame. You have a very big frame, especially for
Mhm.
the weight class. I mean, what's going on? Why is it difficult for you to find fights?
I don't know. I think at the amateur level, it's most women fight at the lower weight classes, 135, 125, and I don't know why we don't have that many bigger women fighting. I mean, it's not like it's a rare thing to find someone who
Yeah.
weighs 155 and is about my size, maybe even a little bit smaller. I don't really know, but I fought at 55 a few times, and then like one time at like once, well, I made like 160. My opponent walked in at 175, but she was real
Right.
small. I only made 46 the one time. I didn't really think that. Well, it wasn't a good fit for me. It wasn't health wise, and then it was just a completely different. I was a completely different fighter. I think that what happened is a lot of people, for some reason, were scheduling fights, and then women just weren't following through. I was always being told, "Oh, they dropped out, so we're going to try to get you on this next card." So I can't really say why, but I was plagued with that throughout the amateur career.
It sounds like that's a big theme in the regional scene, right? A lot of people falling out last minute, getting like 10 different opponents
Yeah,
sometimes and not even fighting. But not true with the PFL though. It must be good to know like you can kind of look and see what your schedule is going to look like, and everything
yeah,
is pretty much merit based.
yeah. I'm excited about that. There's no guessing when your next fight is going to be. It's a tournament, so we know you make it past one, then you know when the next one is, and you're also going to know your opponents. So the cool thing is that PFL, they're not signing chumps. They're signing women who have um, experience and accolades, and are already world champions. So it's a big tournament. I'm excited to challenge myself in it.
When you got into MMA, did you know you were going to have some difficulty a little bit with the fact that you are fighting in the higher up weight classes? Like you mentioned that for some reason not that many women fighting 155, 145, stuff like that. Were you aware of stuff like that going into your career?
Not really. I didn't know that it would be that difficult. Like, I didn't really know what to expect when it came to finding competition. But I mean, it is what it is. I still felt like it was meant for me to get into it because I mean, I've always dreamed of it. And then it was just how everything worked out. Duke and Rufus Sport were right down the street from me, and they're one of the top teams. So, I mean, I didn't really think too much about what it would be like to find competition. But I'm glad that we're finally where we are now.
And so you make the big signing with PFL. I mean, how did that all come together? Because it seems like PFL, they took a break, then they sort of announced a whole new roster and stuff. What kind of happened on your end with that signing?
Well, so I had a discussion with Duke after I made my, I think it was my 45-pound debut for LFA. That was a really rough year. So I worked so hard to make that weight class and completely depleted myself. And what happened was he ended up texting me one day. It was just like, "What weight do you walk around?" And I walk around like 175, give or take, and he was just like, that's you're not going to be able to perform trying to cut that much weight. It's just not natural for you, and it's not healthy. So let's move you up to 55. And I was just like, well, who's what professional level has 55? Because everybody else, if they have a higher level, it's 45. And he was just like, well, PFL's got the 55, so let's get you working towards there. So I moved up, completely changed my game, my health, everything. I just was just a happy person, a happy fighter. Loved what I was doing again. And then I was signed to fight in Gamma, or for Gamma in Singapore. And then they set up the pro debut like as soon as possible. And then right after that, I think it was the week after the fight, it was a couple days later, Duke called me and was like, "You're now a PFL fighter." So, I worked with Sucker Punch, who's an amazing management group and team. So they worked it out, and here I am.
So how did it feel hearing those words from him that you're now with the PFL? Like it must be exciting, not just because it's a big promotion, but people keep saying it. But you got the $1 million if you go through the tournament and
Yeah,
everything goes well for you.
it was awesome. I mean, I was at the mall and I was getting some contacts at one of the places there, and I was just waiting, and I see his name pop. I was like, okay, he's calling me randomly. So I picked up and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, are you sitting down? And I was like, okay, now I am. And he was like, well, congratulations, you're on the PFL roster. You're a PFL fighter. And I was just like, I was really excited just because I kind of always dreamed of when I would have that moment to be told, hey, this big promotion wants you. And I didn't know that much about PFL until they started blowing up more recently. The past couple years and the whole tournament and everything. And I don't know, I was just really excited. I think a lot of people, because PFL wasn't like blowing up yet, everybody was just like, okay, UFC and Bellator and these other top promotions, and so people imagine that. But I'm excited. I'm really excited to be signed with them.
So when you're a women's lightweight in this case, and you sign with a promotion like PFL, you're gonna hear the words or the name Kayla Harrison like all the time. How has that been since you signed? 'Cause I assume you've got your fights and stuff, but people they want to talk about Kayla because at the end of the day, that's who people look at. Like the divisions for her.
She's earned that though. So it's like people give the attention to winners, and she won the tournament last time. So, and she's a two-time judo world champion. So if they made it for her, of course they're going to promote her, and I'm not surprised by that at all. So the only thing is you just have to earn the respect and the attention of of PFL and people who are supportive of the promotion and all that, because they just don't know who I am yet. But as soon as they find out, I'm gonna have a lot of support behind me as well. I mean, I already do, but people who don't know me yet are gonna know.
So when you have someone like that in division, obviously, like you have this fight coming up against Fabian, but is there like an eye to we also have to prepare for Kayla in case anything happens? Like it feels like a lot of people they have their opponent, but they're also eyeing her in the division as well.
Well, you prepare for each opponent, right? So it's like if I don't think about the threat that Genah Fabian is, which she is a big threat. I mean, we know who she is. We know, she's a Muay Thai world champion. So she's not a slouch, and I'm not going to take her lightly at all. I'm not taking her lightly. So I'm getting ready for her. And yes, everybody's mentioning Kayla, and it's like, well, when I get there, that's when I'll concentrate on her. I know what she does. I know what her skill set is. I've seen her. So it's just one fight at a time, one opponent at a time. I don't want to look past anybody. I know I'm facing multiple women this year. So that's just one at a time is all I can do.
All right, so let's talk about this fight a little bit because I feel like you're gonna get all that attention for other stuff, but in reality, it's like you do have a fight booked against Jenna. What was kind of your reaction when you found out like, okay, this was the person you were gonna make that PFL debut against?
What's crazy, I kind of had a feeling that I was going to face her right off the bat. I saw that. I was like, okay, she's 6 foot, she's a striker, and I watched her fights, and I was looking up the different women signed with PFL, and something just told me, I was like, I'm gonna face her. If not the first time or the second time, I'm gonna see her. And what do you know? It was like right away, I'm being told I'm gonna face her. So I mean, I'm excited about it though. I like her style. I think it's a good stylistic matchup. It's gonna be entertaining.
I mean, usually we have to ask how you like the matchup. Never heard a fighter say they don't like the matchup, so it'd be weird if we heard it for the first time. But how do you like the
Yeah.
matchup when you sort of look at this one stylistically?
I like it. Like I said, I know that she has her experience and her accomplishments as a striker, um, and I mean she signed a PFL for a reason. I think that it's just going to be fun. I mean, I'm a good striker too. I'm also a good grappler. I'm good all around. I don't just concentrate on one style. So she's going to stand. We can stand, and I'll be happy to take it there.
Do you feel like you have something to prove in PFL? Because like we mentioned, a lot of the attention goes to people like Kayla and stuff like that. You're still young in your professional career. Obviously, you've had a big amateur career, but you feel like you have something to prove as you head into this tournament?
I don't really think about having to prove it, in that sense. Like it's already going to be proven when I'm in there just doing what I do. I think that if you put a lot of pressure on yourself and you think about, oh, all these people are watching me, I really got to prove something. I'm not in it to prove it to other people. I'm in it because I love what I'm doing and I'm enjoying myself and I'm enjoying the challenge. So all that stuff will be proven just through my work.
And so the odd thing is that you know that basically with the tournament and everything, you get to that final and you have a chance at $1 million. What does that do for you as a fighter, knowing that I'm sure obviously that's the main goal, right? The belt, but then a million. That's quite something. What do you do with that information? Is that something you think like I try not to think about it, or is it kind of thing that is dangling over you when you're with the PFL?
Well, of course, there's the excitement to be able to change your life. Of course, it's like you're gonna win a belt and then you win $1 million. Well, of course, I've thought about what I'm gonna do with it. I want to buy myself a house.
Yeah.
It's gonna, like I said, it is life changing. But just to concentrate on that isn't the right thing to do. And so, yeah, that's in the back of my mind. But at the end of the day, I just have to perform and keep winning.
All right, one last question for you. It's an easy one, but I like to end the interviews on this one. But how do you see yourself getting the job done against Fabian?
Um, it's funny whenever people ask me that question. It's like I'm well rounded and I prepare for every situation. So whether we stand and I finish her in stand up, or we go to the ground and I finish her on the ground, or we're working the clinch, which is another game. It's either way. I don't really care where the fight ends up, but I'm going for the finish.
All right, well, that's what we like to hear. I know everyone's looking forward to it. It's going to be a great fight. Thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.